ClearCastingResin.com here for a silicone mold tutorial. We've been getting a lot of questions about how to pour silicone molds, how to make silicone molds, etc. We have an entire write-up on ClearCastingResin.com, but I want to go over how to pour into silicone molds today. You can make your own using a silicone putty, but we'll save that for a separate video. I just want to go over how to pour molds and the versatility of a deep pour or a thick pour epoxy. As you can see in front of me, I am sitting in front of a river table. This is about 1.75 inches thick in between two live edges. This is Incredible Solutions pourable plastic, and we're going to take that same Incredible Solutions pourable plastic and pour it into all these molds here. We have a pyramid, we have a circle, we have a diamond, some type of a geode, a square, and as you can see, we've already poured larger cylinders here. We've encapsulated beer caps in this one. We just want to show you the versatility of a thick pour resin, how to use it in molds so that you guys at home get an idea of how this stuff works. One thing that I really want to point out is that a casting resin and a thick pour, anything over anywhere between 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch, requires a lot more time to cure because it's a much slower reaction, which allows you to pour much thicker. So you have to have a lot more patience when you're pouring a casting resin like this. This cure right here might take us anywhere from 36 to 48 hours, but I want to run through the process so you get an idea of how to pour a silicone mold with a 2-to-1 or a deep pour casting resin. First, we're going to mix up a large batch of the 2-to-1 casting resin, so we'll just measure it out here, and then after we've got a proper mix, we'll go ahead and pour it down into our different molds here. So like I said, this is a 2-to-1 by volume mixture, 2 parts base resin, 1 part curing agent. So we're going to go ahead and measure that out now. And like I said, I'm going to mix a big batch of it right now, and then we're going to pour it down. All right, we'll let these cure up and see how they pop out of the silicone molds after 36 to 48 hours is usually what it takes to cure for a deep pour like this. And we'll check back in with you after we got some cured product. So there you have it. That's a look at how to mix and pour silicone molds. In total, the smaller casts took about 48 hours to cure. These larger ones took about 36 hours because these are larger mass. It generates more heat. It cures faster. So keep in mind when you're pouring these molds, how big you're going, how much mass. It is going to depend on how much heat you're generating. When you're pouring below 2 inches on some of that deeper pour resin that I was talking about, usually you're fine. But when you start going into larger masses, you need to be cognizant of that because you are going to generate excessive heat. But all in all, really happy with how they turned out. Really impressed with this diamond. I didn't know how this was going to turn out, and it reflects the light really well. I'm not sure how well that's going to come out on camera, but it does do just like a diamond. I mean, it throws the light really, really well. The circle, I was actually more impressed with than I thought I was going to be. You do have a little bit of a ring where the two edges of the mold meet. You have a little bit of a lip around here. It's pretty common with these types of silicone molds. All you have to do is sand that down. Same thing with the top of the diamond. There's a little bit of a lip on here, and you can just sand that down and then polish, which is what most people do. Everything turned out crystal clear. The 2 pyramids here, really impressed with the pigment. Absolutely no bubbles in either one of these pyramids or in the square. We had a little bit of bubbling in the circle, but that's to be kind of expected. It's really minor, so really impressed with that. One thing that I do want to point out that I forgot to mention in the beginning of the video that you really need to be aware of when you're picking your silicone mold is the texture on the inside of the mold. Make sure that you're picking something that's going to be crystal clear, or pick something that's texturized if you want that. And let me show you the difference between the two. Actually, let me get 2 identical colors here. So you can take a look at this. You can see how it's almost frosted on the edge compared to something that's crystal clear. Well, that's because the texture temperature in this container here is different than inside the mold here. So keep that in mind when you're picking a mold, whether you want a frosted look like this. It still looks cool. It's just a personal preference of what you want. I think that most people that are doing these types of molds want something that's crystal clear, so just be aware of that when you're picking molds. I've noticed the same is true on graduated mixing containers, so when you mix something up like this, if you want a crystal clear look, just be cognizant of the texture on the inside of that container or that mold, or if you make your own mold, make sure that it's going to cure crystal clear, because you are going to get a different in the cured product. That's really all there is to it. I'm going to have a full write-up of this on clearcastingresin.com. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up. It's what helps us to keep going, and we'll be back next time with another video review.